The art community on TikTok was in shambles after a new Minecraft art challenge dropped and caused quite the stir among artists and regular Minecraft art enjoyers. This new art challenge, which was basically a draw this in your style, featured artists taking the Enderman character from Minecraft and then drawing him in their art style, giving him a unique personality as well as other notable human features. And while one side of the art community were all drooling and simping over some of these drawings, the other side were furiously hating some of these drawings and were calling the artists out, starting with this drawing, which was probably the most hated drawing of all. This drawing by artist Rohan on TikTok is possibly the most hated Enderman fan art on TikTok and probably one of the most controversial fan art I have seen on the internet. Their TikTok video has over 6 million views, but the amount of likes don't even come close at all. With over 12,000 comments and 40,000 shares, a lot of people on TikTok had quite a lot to say about the drawing. I'm sorry, this shit pissed me off. That's just a guy with purple eyes. Why is Enderman always whitewashed? Minecraft Enderman? No. Chinese Enderman? Yes. It will seem an absurdly large amount of people in the comments all seem to have a problem with the drawing, especially because of how the artist drew Enderman. Words like whitewashing, pale skin and thin lips kept popping up left, right and center, and the metaphorical huge crowd that had gathered outside the residential abode of the artist's comment section were calling each other out and arguing amongst themselves on how Enderman was supposed to look like if he were to be drawn as a human. Now, based on the general appearance of Enderman in Minecraft, who is rather quite tall, slim, with an almost skeletal frame, and is also completely black skinned with purple glowing eyes and a purple dark aura floating around, there seem to be certain check marks artists are meant to keep in mind when drawing their human version of Enderman, and these same checkmarked features were what Minecraft art enjoyers were constantly looking for whenever they saw a human version of the Enderman character. 1. Enderman should have darker skin. Well, because he's dark skinned in the game, I guess. 2. Enderman should preferably not have Eurocentric features. If his skin is black, then I guess this one is self-explanatory. 3. His personality should be mysterious, but it's open to the artist's interpretation, and the rest is left at the artist's discretion. If you're wondering why these all sound rather questionable, well, you're not alone, my fabulous internet friend, as I too am rather puzzled by the high threshold for fan art on TikTok. The second Enderman fan art that became one of the most hated drawings on TikTok is this one made by super talented artist llizukki. The fan art in itself is a good drawing, but I'm sure you already know how it goes on the internet. If your drawing is not what one or more fans are expecting, you're probably going to end up with comments like these. Enderman human version, and it's a random Asian man with purple eyes. That is not what an Enderman would look like. 4.2 million likes for what? Crying emoji. Now, this particular drawing is pretty interesting because the artist also shared their drawing on Twitter, and people's reactions to the drawing were all literally almost the same. The comment section was practically filled with hate comments and whatnot, making fun of the artist for no reason at all. The tweet had a whopping 24 million views, but the artist turned off their comments, and I'm guessing it's probably because they were receiving a little too much hate comments and just random people making fun of them and their drawing, and Minecraft fans blasting the artist because of how they drew everyone's favorite character. Enderman is literally only black and you make him white. My main issue with this is the lack of creative design. Why is it always just a match of hair and eye color and then call it a day? This shit is so ass, bro. Why the actual fuck is he white? He's so ugly. Actually remake this and make him into a skinny black guy right now. I'm so serious. The artist was bombarded with so many comments all telling them their version of Enderman was horrendous and asking them to remake the drawing just because they wanted Enderman to be black. Which is rather funny to me because I'm not too keen on the entire Minecraft lore, but it will seem the Enderman character wasn't specifically coded to a particular race since they were just fictional fictional characters, an artist should be allowed to draw their own headcanons of what the character should look like, which makes it quite remarkable when people are dogpiling on the artist just because they drew the character how they perceive them to look like in their heads. A lot of people became so mad about this artist fan art of Enderman, and some quite talented individuals decided to take matters into their own hands by fixing the fan art and redrawing it in their own way, like this artist for instance. I never thought I'll see the day where King Von gets used as a reference for Minecraft fan art, but there's always a first time for everything. This new version of the Enderman character did its best in stirring the pot, getting people with different opinions to come smashing heads together. While some people were leaving comments telling the artist to reduce the amount of detail in the drawing and post it again without clothes so they could examine the fine lines and commend the artist for their excellent use of line and color, other people were arguing about how the remade version was making fun of the artist's work because they didn't like the original drawing. Some people started leaving comments telling the artist there was no need for hate and violence and everyone was allowed to draw Enderman the way they wanted, because all that matters was just making a unique character design that captured the essence of Enderman, which essentially means dealing the cards you are dealt. And that is precisely what this other artist did, who also didn't like the original artist's fan art of Enderman. Their version looked quite different from the rest and was pretty nice to look at. It had a good design and a lot of people in the comments all kept telling the artist they enjoyed their version. One person who thought all this positivity was a little too much tried to spoil the mood, saying this artist's version was still incorrect because apparently he wasn't tall enough to be Enderman and that the Enderman character was definitely meant to be taller than whatever the artist drew. And I'm like, bruh, just let people enjoy something without even complaining, just for once. Please, can we even try to do that as a community? Just once, just one time. I know that seems to be asking a lot, especially from people who leave comments like these. Sharing your art on the internet has never been easier until now, but with the option of having so many different platforms to share your art on the internet, artists are now sadly forced to compete against their peers when trying to gain the pricey attention of a would-be art commissioner. And in the case where someone from a studio sees your work and desperately feels the need to hire you due to your over-the-top artistic skills, it will be in your best interest to present them with a professional portfolio, which a large majority of you don't have. And that is precisely where Hostinger, the sponsor of today's video, comes in. Hostinger is an all-in-one website builder that lets you create fully functional websites for your portfolio, business, online store, or brand without learning how to code or learning any technical skill at all with the help of their all-new advanced artificial intelligence app builder, Hostinger Horizons. Hostinger has made it very easy for beginners or artists just trying to build their portfolios to create a website and instantly go live with just one click. Hostinger Horizons also includes domain hosting and professional email all in one place so artists can build their online presence and succeed. Let me show you just how easy it is. First, you head over to hostinger.com/horizons, register your account and start for free. You could then type in what type of website you're trying to create, and in a few seconds you have a fully functional website for yourself without any coding skills needed. And then you can proceed to improve it, change the images, text and colors, and edit it until you're satisfied with how it looks. It even adds in a feature with reviews for you, which is a great plus. And all this just took a couple of seconds to set up. Once you're satisfied with everything, you can hit save and go live when you're ready for the world to witness greatness. Hostinger makes it so easy to build a website from scratch, and they want you to try it out now and see for yourself. So head over to hostinger.com/Agbadi to launch the idea you've had today and use my code AGBADI to get 10% off your first month. All the links will be in the description, and a big thank you to Hostinger for sponsoring this video. Twitter, on the other hand, had people taking extreme measures so the artist knew that people didn't like their drawing drawing of Enderman and were fixing their art to apparently teach them a lesson. Someone took their drawing and either drew over it or traced it and apparently fixed it to the quote-unquote correct version, making him darker and giving him features of a black person, which would have totally been a great drawing if the artist had just posted it on their own instead of fixing someone else's drawing. llizukki got mad and called them out for fixing their drawing, which rightfully so is normal, and their call out tweet got 40,000 likes. And I find it so funny that they said there's going to be serious problems if the person doesn't delete the post. Nice try, pal. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Hey, you're barking up the wrong tree here, pal.
You're on thin ice, bucko. Why, I oughta.
And if you thought that was the worst, another person also thought they could teach the artist a lesson or two by fixing their drawing, but this time making everything completely black and as close to the Enderman character as possible. Behold. I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm glad other people in the comments also realized this was just totally rude and uncalled for, and were calling the art fixer for doing too much for no reason at all, which is quite nice seeing other people stand up for the artist. While I think this art of Enderman is rather basic, we have to understand Enderman are not confirmed black. They're Enderman. They don't have a race. Please stop harassing someone for making their interpretation of Enderman when there's no canon look for a humanized one. Stop complaining about whitewashing. It's their art. It's literally a character from a block video game, and if it matters so much to you, then draw it yourself correctly. There is no right or wrong way. The next Enderman fan art that also got hated on TikTok is this one by the artist Arimia. I think so far out of all the fan art of Enderman we've seen today, theirs is way more simplified than the rest. The drawing also doesn't take itself too seriously because their art style is just much more simplified than the other artists. The headcanon design for Enderman is also different from the others and have him wearing a suit with a purple tie, which I think is pretty cool and would work perfectly well if they were making a Minecraft webtoon. As usual, people immediately started hating their drawing because of the skin tone they gave Enderman, accusing the artist of whitewashing Enderman. But I think their design was pretty cool, and apparently a lot of other people in the comments also liked this design and were simping openly for the artist's drawing, saying hear me out. Although the drawing wasn't quote-unquote accurate to what Enderman should look like according to TikTok, I still think the artist did a great job and deserves their metaphorical flowers and showers of praise. The next drawing that got hated on TikTok was this drawing by Verniede. Now, so far out of all the fan art we have gone through, Verniede's version looks to be the one that was pretty different. The design of Enderman was quite unique, and instead of drawing him as tall and dark, they made him pale with long purple hair. Their art style kinda reminds me of Cooling's paintings for some reason, which is like a slightly more rendered version of anime drawings, which I happen to enjoy as well. Their original drawing post didn't have a lot of comments like other videos, but they still had a few people trying to correct them and tell them how to draw Enderman properly. And at this point, I'm pretty sure the artist had already seen videos of people who had drawn Enderman quite different from how TikTok had wanted them to look like, and they probably had it up to their gills with people trying to correct people for drawing what they like. So they made a video addressing the people who demanded Enderman to be black.
Isn't Enderman supposed to be black?
Aren't humans supposed to be the smartest creatures on Earth? Because some of them started to judge me for drawing Enderman white, even though he's not fucking
Firstly,
white.
I drew him purple, and if you look closely, you'll see that his body is dark.
And secondly, he doesn't have a canon race or appearance in human form, so it's just how I imagine him.
But it's not that hard to draw him all black.
Dude, it's not that hard to scroll. Instead of attacking me and acting like I drew him as a pregnant, balding, and toothless gnome with rabies.
I'm not saying that my version is the only right one. I like to see Enderman as a dark-skinned guy or whatever, but calling me a racist just because we imagine him differently is crazy.
Their video got almost 500,000 views, and this time the comments were filled with people arguing on what an Enderman should look like. Some people said the artist's version didn't have any similarities with an Enderman because apparently correctly, the artist drew him to be muscular, and Enderman is not supposed to have muscles. And also because this version looked like a regular manhwa character and was confusing to people who didn't know of Enderman since it didn't have any resemblance to him at all, which is a pretty fair argument, and I can see their point, because if you indeed put an image of Enderman and this drawing side by side, you will probably also wonder where the Enderman-ness of the fan art is as well. A bonus Enderman fan art that also got the figurative hammer of hate on TikTok is a cosplay of Enderman with a rather unique twist. This tastefully satisfying version of Enderman was immediately received with a rather unbalanced amounts of oohs, goo goo gagas, mommy and hear me outs in the comment section, and also a lot of what is this, I didn't ask for this, and why are you sexualizing Enderman comments, all aimed at calling out the creator. And while it's not new for cosplay artists to gender swap a character in their cosplay, a lot of people felt the person was pushing the boundaries because of how their human mammary glands were exposed to the glaring eyes of the public, which all sounds rather intriguing. I mean, I guess if you don't like it, you could just casually scroll away. Wouldn't that just solve the problem instead of wasting all that time dogpiling on the artist? How's that for a little food for thought for the big brains? Now, since all these artists have made drawings of their own versions of Enderman and have all been extremely hated on, I'm sure you'll all be wondering, what should a drawing of human Enderman look like? So I found some drawings of Enderman which people in the art community on TikTok all seem to love the most and consider them the proper representation of what Enderman should apparently look like if he were to be human. Hakori Fox made probably the most loved drawing of Enderman on TikTok, with their video receiving a whopping 8 million views, sitting casually at 1.3 million likes and over 20,000 comments. Finally, an actually good human Enderman design. What comes after 7? 8. Congratulations, you made the mob that steals, can't swim and gets mad if you look at it for too long black. No hate though, it's good art. What are you even saying? This is the problem with humans. You draw him white, people will complain. You draw him black, people are still complaining. Like, what do you even want at this point? And you will think it's only one person that has a problem with him being drawn as black, but there's literally others all going apeshit, losing their watermelons because he was drawn as a black person. Like, what do y'all even want at this point? The next Enderman drawing that was loved on TikTok is by artist Celine. This drawing of Enderman is one of the most accurate to Enderman's original design. The character looks tall and slender, he's black from top to mostly bottom, and he still has the purple glow and aura from his eyes and mouth. And while I like this drawing because it looks good and for other reasons a normal person will like a drawing, some people seem to like the drawing for a totally different reason, saying things like this. What am I even reading at this point? Okay, in a certain light, I think I can see the attraction. I can see why people are simping over their version of Enderman and are willing to give up everything to become a slave to him. Understandable. Note that I am not judging you at all. This is a judgment-free zone. You can do as you like here. Another most loved version of Enderman I kept seeing in the comments was from an artist on TikTok named zestymachine, which was a rather questionable username, but after seeing the drawing, I can immediately tell you for a fact that yes, this drawing is probably one of the best drawings from this trend. Everything just looks so insanely cool. The design is great, the silhouette is great, the proportions are perfect, and he just looks like a total badass in every way. When people say a drawing has aura, this drawing is what comes to my mind. The drawing just reeks of aura. It's just so freaking good. I think this trend brought forth some really talented artists on my For You page, regardless of how they drew Enderman, and while a lot of artists received hate for their drawings, I think everyone did great and each drawing has its place in the trend, good or bad, white or pale. All artists should be allowed to draw what they want without the fear of getting cancelled or called out. And if an artist draws their headcanon of a fictional character that isn't originally made to be any race, I think it's okay for them to be allowed to draw the character as they see fit, since the sole purpose of fan art is for fans to draw the character in their own style, open to interpretations. So please, for the love of God, just let artists draw what they want, how they want, without any further interruptions or accusing them of using AI when you're not even particularly sure. Well, it looks like you've made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like, share the video with a friend, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. With all that being said, I'll see all you pretty penguins in the next video. Bye.